There is no question that halfway through the season, third baseman Josh Donaldson is the Athletics MVP. His power stroke and opposite field hitting has ignited the offense. And his gold glove caliber defense has made numerous highlight reels and, more importantly, helped win games. He would be an excellent representative for the Athletics in New York at this year's All-Star Game. Josh was drafted by the Chicago Cubs in 2007 and was traded to the A's shortly thereafter. And tonight the Cubs make their first visit to the East Bay as Donaldson and the A's would love to show off what the Northsiders missed out on. It's game 1 of 3, A's-Cubs, next. Well, if Cubs fans look a little lost at the Coliseum, that's because the Cubs have never been to the Coliseum. First time ever interleague play. The Cubs are in town. Josh Donaldson, we think he should be an all-star. A lot of people do. So Donaldson and the Athletics getting set to host the Chicago Cubs interleague baseball from the Coliseum, and you'll see game 1 of the series right here on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball, along with Ray Fossey. I'm Glenn Kuiper. Well, you saw Josh Donaldson. Boy, what a story he has been. And Ray, think back to last year and then the offseason. Yeah. So you're hoping that you get the Josh Donaldson this year that was the last month and a half, as opposed to the guy who struggled early. He's been even better than that.
And, you know, if you're an all-star, you have to hit and you have to play defense. And Josh Donaldson has done that since last year into the 2013 season. What he did on Sunday alone against the Cardinals, spectacular. Home run opposite field, about the third time he's done that this season. Of course, remember the Grand Slam against Sale in Chicago, but defensively he has been spectacular. He has no fear. Into the tarp, down the third baseline, who cares? He caught the ball big out there, just as big on this one. Diving, this might have saved the game because the Cards had a chance to score a run there, make it a closer game. He, of course, prevented that, but he has done everything you would expect and hope from an all-star.
Now, for the Chicago Cubs, they are in a complete rebuilding mode, but they have 2 cornerstone players in Castro and Rizzo, shortstop and first baseman, and they're both terrific young players.
And you remember Theo Epstein went from the Boston Red Sox to the Cubs to try to do the same thing. These are 2 guys that he believes can really help them maybe get to the World Series that they have not received in over 100 years. Castro, Rizzo has just done a tremendous job, but the speed that Castro has, great shortstop, he has power and speed, but Rizzo probably the key on this ball club. In a trade, they acquired him, and he has been outstanding, probably perfectly suited for Wrigley Field, but his play overall has been tremendous. He can hit for power, he can run, he can do it all. Great defensive player, just a tremendous player to build on. I think that's what the Cubs are looking for.
Indeed, 2 very exciting young players, so we'll get to see them for the next 3 games here at the Coliseum. A.J. Griffin set to take them on for the A's. He's coming off his best performance of his young career, the 2-hit shutout. He'll be looking for his 7th win of the year. It's the A's and the Cubs coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California.
Sportsnet California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Now's your chance to go big at Jack in the Box. Try Jack's Big Stack Burger. 2 jumbo beef patties stacked with onion rings, cheese, and pickles.
A's, after an off day, are back to work. Wearing the all-whites tonight. Being set for game 1 of this 3-game series against the Chicago Cubs. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. A little cooler tonight, 70 degrees and a little bit more breezy. But it's a very, very nice summer night for baseball here in Oakland. And let's look at the lineup for the Chicago Cubs. Luis Valbuena at third, Starlin Castro at short, Nate Scherholz in right. Alfonso Soriano is the cleanup hitter. He's in left. Anthony Rizzo's at first. Deanna Navarro, the DH. Brian Bogasevic is in center. Darwin Barney at second. And Wellington Castillo is the catcher.
And A.J. Griffin trying to do what he did at his last start against the Cincinnati Reds, a 2-hit shutout. Of course, the guy he pitched against did a little bit better. But A.J., even his record is 6-6 on the season. Cubs seeing him for the first time.
So first pitch, 7:07, and it's a strike to Luis Valbuena, the third baseman for the Cubs. So Valbuena, Castro, and Scherholz, top 3 for the Cubs. First of 3.
It's kind of great to see the Cubs in town. And A's have been to Wrigley Field a couple of times during interleague play, but first time the Chicago Cubs have come here. And you see a lot of former A's. Of course, Dale Swaim from Pinot, the manager of the Cubs. His bench coach, Jamie Quirk, who played for the A's. That is Dale Swaim. Jamie Quirk, the former catcher for the Athletics.
And a fastball right down the middle at the knees. Valbuena watched it. And that's strikeout number 1. Here's the defense for the A's tonight. Cespedes, Young, and Reddick in the outfield. Donaldson, Rosales, Lowry, and Fryman on the infield. And Norris is your catcher. So Griffin starts out the ball game with a strikeout. And here's Starlin Castro.
You have to wonder how many A's players left here Sunday after the final game of the series against the Cardinals and were told, get ready for the game Tuesday night. Of course, Scott Feldman's going to be pitching. He is the right-hander. That left-handed lineup's probably going to be in there, and all of a sudden a big switch today with Feldman being traded. So, you know, it's an adjustment that the A's players have had to make, just because Bob Melvin and his staff usually will tell the players whether they're playing or not.
Cubs made a couple of trades today. We'll tell you about those. 0-2 to Starlin Castro. And that one missed a bit inside, not by much. So Cubs and the Orioles, Feldman and left-handed inning catcher Steve Clevenger for Jake Arrieta and Pedro Strop. Arrieta, of course, major prospect, hasn't quite figured it out at the big league level. Cubs hope and think that he will. Castro is retired, and you saw Carlos Marmol, who was designated for assignment. He ends up with the Dodgers, and the Cubs get Matt Guerrier, a right-handed reliever. Guerrier is expected to join the big league club a little bit later this week. So Feldman, sought after decent starting pitcher, kind of a middle of the rotation guy, and the Orioles were looking for that, and they got him.
Scott Feldman from the area probably enjoyed his off day yesterday, getting ready to pitch tonight, and gets a phone call.
Back it up.
Shock. Nate Scherholz is in the lineup against the A's. What a career he had against the A's when he played for the Giants, and of course from the Bay Area as well.
And he's having a nice year for the Cubs. 286 with the 11 home runs, hitting in the third spot. Change up and a good one.
Well, that's a pitch going to be so effective for A.J. Griffin. Let's take a look at the lineups, or the umpires lineup tonight. It's Randazzo behind the plate. The changeup for A.J. Griffin, because it looks so much like his fastball.
And it's a high changeup, but it works. So a couple of strikeouts for Griffin in the top of the first. And we're about to see Chris Russin, a rookie left-hander, face the Athletics. Lineup. Coco's going to DH, and then it's Lowry, Cespedes, Donaldson, Fryman, Young, Reddick, Norris, and Rosales. So it's the right-handed hitting lineup
against the lefty Chris Russin, who is making his 2013 debut for the Cubs, but he's also last year made some starts for the Cubs, but for the season that was a AAA Iowa, 7-7. Sinker slider, throw a kind of a cutter slider. Not really overpowering, so the A's will see this lefty for the first time.
The Cubs defense: Soriano, Bogasevic, Scherholz in the outfield, Valbuena, Castro, Barney, Rizzo in the infield, and Castillo is the catcher. So Chris Russin kicks, and his first pitch is driven to left center. Bogasevic goes back, and he's got it. One pitch, one out.
Well, how about a young man that's going to make his 2013 start? He's heading out of the bullpen, and I think I'll get my things, and then bang! That's a wake-up call for you. How about that? I mean, that had to wake him up a little bit. Get the cobwebs out. You know, kind of thinking of Wrigley Field, which this maybe is a great stadium for the Cubs, because with the Cardinals and the Reds in this home stand, brand new stadiums, and then the Cubs, of course, still in Wrigley Field. A's have been there a couple of times recently, but still quite old. Probably will be there for a long time.
The A's were in Chicago at Wrigley Field in 2004 and 2010. And as we've said a couple times now, as Ray just said, the Cubs have never been here. So these two teams have really played each other very little in interleague play. Cubs have won 2 out of 3 both those times. A little different situation now, with the A's being one of the best teams in baseball and the Cubs in a rebuilding phase. Off the end of the bat to Castro, scoops it up, and that's out number 2. Odetco Coliseum is the 121st different ballpark that the Chicago Cubs have played in. These Cubs have been around since, well, really since, well, certainly the early 1900s, since the World Series started being played, and it was 1901. Lots of Cubs fans everywhere around the the country.
And there are generations of people, just like when the Red Sox finally won after 80 some odd years, generations of people have never seen a world championship, and even more so for the Cubs, the longest of any major league team to not win a World Series. And I would think they're going to add one more after this year. I don't think this is going to happen with their current record, but they still support their Cubs. Whether Wrigley Field, where there are a lot of people that always watch them there, or on the road.
Cespedes shoots it into right center field for a base hit. The shift was on. Barney was playing behind second base, and Cespedes actually hit it to the left of Barney, which probably caught the Cubs second baseman by surprise.
RBI double to right center on Sunday, and this pitch down and away. If you're going to pitch or at least play a shift, as we have always said, you have to pitch accordingly. Of course, they expected him to pull the outside pitch, but if they'd had scouts, and I know Adam Malhughes has watched the A's play, but they probably do not believe that Cespedes is going to do a lot of right field hitting. But he has been doing it a little bit more consistently. It's working out for him.
Our Exmo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. So that's the first hit in the game, and here's Donaldson. First pitch in for a strike. 316, 13 and 53 for Donaldson.
Very good first half numbers for Donaldson, and of course project over the course of a season. Very impressive. Especially like you said earlier, the fact that back and forth last year finally came up for good in August and played well in September in postseason, and has continued this season.
Donaldson takes well inside. Extremely consistent, Donaldson. He really has not had a real bad slump.
Now, he has been consistent, and that's what you like to see, especially when it came up last year. It's almost like the light went on. And I think, again, the defense that Brandon Edge was playing at third, Donaldson would have matched him accordingly.
Oh, that one's lined to left, and that is gone. Home run number 14 for Donaldson, 2-0 A's.
That tunnel is getting to be pretty regular, isn't it? And Josh Donaldson, you know, Cub, I think the best thing he did was to take the first couple of pitches, because you get a chance to read a pitcher that you have not seen, and Donaldson crushes it. I mean, he absolutely crushed it to left field. Question, would it have enough height to get over the fence? And it did, because it never came down until it hit the stairs.
So a quick lead for the Athletics. So a start for Nate Fryman. He has not had a lot of those as of late.
Well, Donaldson just has it to perfection with a leg kick, stride, keeps the bat back, and just unloads. And whether it's to right field, which is capable of hitting home runs, he's shown that, or to left field. He's a special player, and not bad for a former catcher. He has found a home at third pretty regularly now.
3-1 now to Fryman. So Chris Russin got the first two outs, but innocent 2-out single by Cespedes, and batter later, he's down 2-0. Scherholz on the move toward the line. Scherholz has it side retired. Donaldson, 2-run homer, his 14th of the year. So after one, it's the A's 2 and the Cubs 0. Sportsnet California is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. Everyone rides for the kids' fair at Roaring Camp's 50th birthday. Weekdays after 2 p.m. So thanks to Josh Donaldson, an early 2-0 A's lead. Soriano drives on the right field. Reddick on the move, still on the move, and he makes the catch. So Soriano swings at the first pitch, and Reddick battled that one a little bit.
Well, it's a tough sun field for the right fielder, and Josh Reddick, Gold Glover, but still had a tough time. This ball slicing away from him, and the power of Soriano. I think initially it was a tough time for him to pick up the ball. Does not need his glasses, concentration, but initially, boy, he had a slight hesitation, but able to recover quickly enough to be able to get the ball. And it's hard for a right fielder, but played it nicely.
First pitch strike to Anthony Rizzo.
I'd say with the sunglasses on his cap, he's smart enough to know that he doesn't need them. But probably since he's in the sun, if he puts his sunglasses on, and while they would help with the ball in the sun, but he's looking in a lot of shadows.
Line shot right into the glove of Lowry. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Deoner Navarro.
Batting in the second position, designated hitter, number 30, Deoner Navarro.
Navarro is the designated hitter. .260 with 8 home runs for Navarro. There's a time when a lot of people thought Navarro was maybe one of the better young catchers in baseball for a long time, and it just never really materialized. With the Rays, he was traded from the Dodgers to the Rays. He flips that one down the left field line, and that's fair. And Navarro is going to have a 2-out double. So he's a switch hitter, and he just flipped one down the left field line.
Elevation on the fastball, a little bit up, and it's a good job of hitting by Navarro. But if you're going to hit a double, you're going to give up a double. You see with a couple of outs, and that's the situation the A's have now with him at second. A.J. Griffin would like the shutdown inning, as all pitchers like to get the 3 outs without allowing run to score after the club has taken the lead.
Here's Brian Bogusevic, center fielder. Unbelievable there. 2 outs and runners in scoring position. The opposition is hitting 97. Big, slow curve in for a strike.
67 miles per hour. Not many are going to swing at it. Floats in, and of course a single-digit curveball, the way he throws it, does not allow him to get a lot of velocity on his curveball.
Bogusevic hitting .238 with a couple of RBIs. He's 5 for 21 in 5 games. Remember, the Cubs have a couple outfielders on the disabled list. One of them is David DeJesus. DeJesus was hitting .260 for the Cubs, but he's on the DL. And also former Athletic Ryan Sweeney, who was doing a pretty good job, just got to the big leagues, but he cracked a rib recently running into the wall, so Sweeney is on the disabled list.
You wouldn't recognize him. Usually he's had that very short haircut. His hair is actually long.
Wow.
Had a double take when I walked to the clubhouse, and I saw him and said, "Is that you?"
And a fastball. Bogusevic swings and misses. No damage done. Third strikeout for Griffin. Bottom of the second coming up. 2-0 A's. Thanks to Josh Donaldson's 2-run homer. No hitter tonight. It was in Cincinnati, and it was Homer Bailey who shut down a struggling Giants team. 3-0 was the final. Second time Bailey has no-hit a team in his career. In fact, he's thrown the last 2 no-hitters in the majors. Yeah. That's amazing. Last September, and then today against the Giants. 3-0 was the final.
And he probably owes a lot to his pitching coach, Brian Price, because last Wednesday when he was pitching here, he gave up 2 hits in the first 3 innings, then 4 hits, 4 runs in the 4th, hung a curveball through a slider to Donaldson, resulted in a 3-run home run, struck out the side of the 5th, struck out 1, walked 1 in the 7th. He's not given up a hit since the 4th inning against the A's here at the Coliseum last Wednesday. But Brian Price, I'm sure, went out and said, you've got a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Don't you think it's a good time to use it? Because he blew the A's away 3 batters, and then, of course, what he did tonight.
He was, watching that game, he was blowing tonight. And I mean,
he's capable.
Throwing hard. I mean, he was, every fastball he threw was 95, 96, 97. So your point is here in Oakland, he got beat with breaking balls, and his pitching coach said, stop it.
Yeah, enough's enough.
And he throws the no-hitters.
Yeah.
He should take his pitching coach out to dinner. But he was throwing hard. And just right about at the letters, no chance.
Well, you're not going to catch up to a 95, 97 fastball up around the letters. I mean, it looks so good, and all of a sudden it's in the catcher's mitt.
So congratulations to Homer Bailey. He was extremely impressive, and the last 2 no-hitters in Major League Baseball have been thrown by the same guy.
They talk about a relief pitcher comes in and throws mid to upper 90s fastball, can blow guys away for an inning, but how about doing it for 9? And that's what he did, and that's impressive.
That one's hit deep to left field, and that baby is gone. Young homers, it's 3-0 Athletics. So home run number 8 for Chris Young. Russ had maybe tried to get in, and Chris Young, he's a pull hitter. Now, that one was out over the plate a little bit.
It was supposed to be, and like you said, he just leaked out. And at 88, see, that's not that's not your 97 that Homer Bailey was throwing. That's 88. And Josh Donaldson took him deep, same velocity. And this one didn't quite make the second deck, but still definitely deep enough.
We've said it many times. Young is a pull hitter. He'll tell you he's a pull hitter. Center field. That one's hit well. Bogusevic's back. He's at the wall, and he reaches up against the wall to make the catch. That ball had some pretty good carry on it on a warm night.
And Josh, that might have just convinced him, I can't try to go to the opposite field anymore. Heck with that. What a nice swing. And a cutter. And just kept traveling, and I thought for a second it might have a chance, and that's how close. Feeling for the wall, felt it, and don't think it would have gone out, but a very nice swing by Josh Reddick. And really, he provided his own power, and it was one-handed. I know, Josh, you're upset. And that wasn't a sneeze.
So 1 away for Norris. Norris hitting 195 with 3 home runs, 15 RBIs. So Donaldson and Young with home runs already in this game. Adam Rosales waits in the on-deck circle. So a good start here for the Athletics, and they're getting a lot of help in Arlington tonight, where the Seattle Mariners are defeating the Rangers 9-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning.
That's not Felix. Felix is tomorrow.
Felix is tomorrow. Joe Saunders pitching extremely well.
Safe code Joe. Now it's ballpark Joe.
Yeah. The Rangers, who coming into that game had won 9 out of 11, but Mariners playing well tonight. Rangers at home all week. They'll host Seattle and then Houston. Hit hard off the glove of Valbuena. He can't find it. It rolls behind him, and Norris is aboard. It was a very hard hit ball on the backhand, so it's going to be a base hit.
But again, a hitter getting a count in his favor, and Derek Norris has to be extremely happy that this ball was not caught. Valbuena might have thrown him out, but could not handle the backhand with the topspin. Derek Norris, a couple of hits last start.
There's your West standings. The A's just a half game back. Angels trying to make their move. They've won 6 in a row. They're 9 back, trying to get to 500. They are underway at home against the Cardinals. So Albert Pujols seeing his old team, the Cardinals. No score in the second inning in that one. Lynn and Weaver is your matchup.
And that's the first time for the Cardinals at Anaheim.
Yep.
So across baseball, it was about 5 series that I guess teams have not been certain places. So this maybe is the week that it's all happening this season.
That's a base hit. Castro dives, can't get it. Rosales is aboard. 2 on, 1 out.
That had to feel very good for Adam Rosales. He's not played a lot, as most of the right-handers have not. So he gets a double fist pump from Ty Water. The slider coming into his wheelhouse.
So the A's have 5 hits. The first time through their order. And now Coco Chris steps up.
You know, Cap, we have to mark down this date of July the 2nd, and just see how long it takes for Coco Crisp to get his hair back to where it was before tonight. That was him on the bench that we saw putting the bat in the rack. Had to try on different helmets because, forget that. That will be a while before that hairstyle comes back.
Coco hit a fly ball to center field in the first inning. Chris Bosio. Speaking of no-hitters, he had a no-hitter.
A no-hitter at the Kingdome.
That's right.
And his shortstop, Omar Vizquel, fielded the final out with his bare hand. That's a very good shortstop who would take the chance and a no-hitter instead of fielding with the glove. Just grab it with the bare hand, because if he misses, it's going to be a hit. But sure-handed Omar Vizquel was able to make the play, and Chris Bosio is a no-hit pitcher. Pretty good accomplishment.
Coco bounces one right towards second. Out at second and safe at first. Coco beat it. Keeps the inning alive.
Now Larry Vanover started his call, first base umpire. Probably could have gone either way. But I think the right call was made. You'd think this is going to be a double play easily, but Coco Crisp beat it out. A little flip from the second baseman Barney to Castro, who has a very strong arm, avoided the tag or the slide by Rosales, and that quickly Coco hit in the front of the bag. Rizzo tried to stretch enough, but well, Larry Vanover just gave that safe.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good. You can start and decide very quickly if it's going to be the right fist pump for out or the safe call.
Here's Lowry, who grounded out to short. Coco leaning a little bit. Lowry's a hot hitter. He's 4 for 10 in that weekend series against the Cardinals, and he's got a 9-game hitting streak. Good with runners in scoring position. Lowry, during that 9-game hit streak, 16 for 35. missed again. 2-0.
Well, for the left side on Sunday, a big 2-run home run. The A's scored 2 runs in 3 different innings, and this was a home run that would give the A's the lead that they would hang on against Jake Westbrook. He was not throwing his typical sinking fastball on Sunday. Jake Westbrook was not. Elevated a few pitches, and as a result, picked up the loss.
So 2-0. Russin to Lowry. Coco runs, and it's a strike. Throw to second base. Out of time. Stolen base for Coco Crisp.
Yeah, Castillo not able to get the ball cleanly, making the transfer. So Coco with his 14th stolen base. See, the young man has a very strong arm from behind the plate, but on the first move did not look back, which is important. And see the little double clutch just a little bit. Castillo, the catcher, and a nice transfer. It might have been a different story at second.
Two-1 is foul by Lowry.
They like to see players, though, too. And they can see a runner taking off and a right-handed hitter. Lowry from the right side could see Coco get the good jump, and it was willing to take the pitch, putting him in the score position. Where he has a couple of guys take away the force out.
We think Russin's ready, and he is. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. A's get a run on 3 hits. The run is a home run by Chris Young. Third inning coming up. 3-0 Athletics.
$10,000 fans will receive a green checkered A's picnic blanket. It's presented by Comerica Bank. And the A's host these Chicago Cubs. For more information and tickets, call 877-493-BALL or visit oaklandathletics.com/tickets. It's going to be a good one. 4th of July here at the Coliseum. Of course, fireworks tomorrow night, and then Independence Day, America's birthday, Thursday. What a great way to spend America's birthday right here at the Coliseum.
And we will, and then get on a plane. So,
well, that's
I get to sit next to Ray Fosse on the 4th of July.
oh, big.
Fryman has it in foul territory. Darwin Barney is retired. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think it sounded like I was disappointed. I'm not.
Well, you could always change seats, but I know.
No, change seats. That will not happen. There's nobody I'd rather sit next to more than the guy I sit next to for 3 hours in the broadcast booth. Ray Fosse.
He's a good man.
Thing I like about you, though, Ray, you don't like to be bothered. I'm the same way.
Take a nap, you take a nap.
Ray, you need anything? Nope. All right, good. We're set for 3 hours to Kansas City.
Had to chuckle a little bit. I always enjoy watching Nate Fryman. I mean, he's got so much energy. And Nate, 6'8", Nate at first base. And he goes into foul territory to catch that last pop up.
I got it.
He puts up the right hand. Nate, there's nobody around. but the ball's coming down, descending, and he puts up his right hand, and the ball's there, you know. So, but he's such a gentleman. It's unbelievable. He's almost too nice. But, you know, tall guys, big guys are nice guys, it seems.
And let's hope he stays there.
Oh, I think. Think of the great Hondo, Frank Howard.
Yeah.
Hondo is huge. But watch this. Watch your right hand. I got it. There's nobody around except the first base coach, Dave McCain.
He was letting Dave McCain.
He's good, though.
That was quick. Wellington Castillo just strides back to the dugout. And that is 4 strikeouts for Griffin. Here's our Ford right choice. Let's go back to that Wednesday performance. It was a gem against Homer Bailey in the Cincinnati Reds. 9 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts. 5-0 was the final. So first career complete game shutout for Griffin. He was good.
Watching Stephen Vogt, who caught him, and when he turned around, I thought he was giving the ball to the home plate umpire. I said, "What are you doing? It's a shutout. You got to give it to AJ," which he did. He was just, I guess, confirming strikeout. If you remember that game, he walked the first batter on 4 pitches. And he's thinking, "Oh no, what's going on?" And then he had 2 innings, combined 14 pitches, 5 and a 9. And there was nobody up in the bullpen. As the game progressed and got down to the 9th inning, it was all his. Why not?
Buena struck out looking. And now 3-1. Still 9-2 Mariners over the Rangers. Top of the 9th inning in Arlington. Strike. Well, Buena thought he had ball 4. He does not. So it's full count.
Well, the upper part of the strike zone, and looked like it had the corner. Only Tommy Cam would show us that, but looked like it had the corner enough.
Popped up, and it'll be fouled just to our left. He is very close to us, right below us, and he made a nice catch.
Hell, it's so cool. He got his phone in his left hand.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out on a 3-2 changeup. So that is 5 strikeouts for A.J. Griffin. 3-0 A's as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. To enhance the in-game experience on your computer, smartphone, or tablet. Follow the action on the diamond like never before with in-depth stats up to the second box scores and join the social buzz with other fans. A's In-Game Live is presented by Chevron, only at csncalifornia.com. 3-0 the A's lead. Donaldson with a 2-run homer, Chris Young with a solo shot. Cespedes to lead it off against Chris Russin. He's have 5 hits in 2 innings off Russin. Cespedes a big swing and he fouls it right back. Cespedes single to right in the first, right before Donaldson's home run. Ripped to left. Soriano's right there, though, and he makes the catch. So Cespedes lines out for out number 1.
The shift was played perfectly that time. And he hit into the shift. We talk about maybe the advantage a pitcher might have when he sees the team for the first time. And of course, for Russin, seeing the A's hitter seeing him. But if you take pitches, again, you can see all you want on video and the scouting reports, but there are times if you've not seen a pitcher, well, just be patient enough to at least see the release point, see how he's throwing. Josh Donaldson, third pitch he saw, ended up hitting a home run. But this was after taking the pitch, maybe getting a chance to look at him. Started 0-1, took the strike, but then 1-1. Just look at Russin's face. He knew what he just did. He knew he just gave up a 2-run home run. Didn't he have to look at the baseball?
Off speed, catches the outside corner, 1-1. Donaldson has 9 hits in his last 17 at bats. This one's popped up. Got in on him just a little bit. Castro, the shortstop, is under. So that is out number 2. Keep an update on the stacked third base position in the American League with the All-Star game in mind. Cabrera is going to win the vote in, and he deserves that, and he should be the starting third baseman. So if you're worried about Josh Donaldson, well, you got to look at Longoria, Machado, Beltre. My personal opinion is Machado's going to make it. Yeah, I think Machado and Donaldson are going to make it with Cabrera. I think they're going to take 3 third basemen. I have no inside information. Just
you know what's helpful, I think. They only have to carry 2 catchers because they have the return of the catcher once he comes out. At one time, you had to carry 3 catchers because if one catcher started and another catcher came in and something were to happen, then they need the third catcher. But I think this starting catcher comes out of the game midway and something happens, he can go back in, which is the way it should be. Yeah, and eliminates the necessity of having 3 catchers. Although that, I'm sure, hurts some cases of player. But when you have...
But you could still take a third catcher if he's worthy of it.
Of course,
you just don't have to.
You don't have to. Right. In the past, it was pretty much a have-to thing. But when you have a load at third base and have so many great third basemen, you just actually want to see all of them make it. But the Machado, you saw in that list of the 5 third basemen, they were all home run hitters, which is a power position at third. But Machado is different, 38 doubles. Yeah. And of course, he creates a lot of runs batted in with doubles. Sure. And driving in runs. It doesn't necessarily hit as many home runs as Beltre. Cabrera's is off the charts. I mean,
but I think with Donaldson, you have the defense as well. I mean, he has played as well as any third baseman. I mean, Beltre is the guy who's got the defensive hardware, of course. That one's line to right. Nice job of hitting by Fryman. Well, Fryman has his first hit number 6 for the A's.
Well, a 3-2 pitch. You figure guys might come out of the shoes and try to hit a home run, but Nate Fryman just sits down on a pitch away from him. Pretty good pitch by Russell, but yet Fryman able to take it hard to right field. Great story about Nate Fryman. He knew he was not going to play that much, so he went to Chili Davis and said, what do I need to do to make myself a good pinch hitter. And Chile gave him some good information, but I mean, the young man, Nate Fryman, a nice guy, but he wants to learn, he wants to contribute. And more importantly, he wants to stay in the big leagues. Chile's done it all. And anything that is asked of him, he's got a very good answer and always good information.
Pitch is low. Young hit his 8th home run of the year in the 2nd inning. Well, the A's 6th in the American League in total runs scored. Lead the league in walks. 3rd in the league in doubles. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Surprised this young man does not throw more changeups than he has tonight. That was a very good changeup, 2-1. But he's been hit pitches at about 88, which would be a fastball. And just does not have a lot of overpowering in his velocity fastball. Chris Bosio did. Able him to pitch a no-hitter.
Short lead for Fryman, and the 2-2 pitch is a bit outside. Quick throw, and Big Nate's got to dive back.
That was another strike.
Huh.
Check swing was one thing, but looked like a pretty good pitch. And then the very quick throw. Maybe Nate Fryman thought it was a good pitch.
So 3-2, Fryman takes off, and this one's hit high and foul.
Well, a 3-2 count, which he has now. They try to go inside, left it outside, and the result, a solo home run.
Young getting a chance to play in center field tonight. Coco Crisp DHing. And a swing and a miss. So that's how the bottom of the 3rd comes to an end. A hit and a runner left, and we're headed to the 4th. It's the A's 3 and the Cubs nothing. Major League Baseball teams that have gone over 50 years without a World Series title. Oh, that's the list that you do not want to be on. And really, you say in Major League Baseball, in our business, you say the list. People know what the list is.
And nobody wants to be on.
You do not want to be on the list.
We just tell you now that I know personally, 1948 Cleveland Indians.
Indians are on it, and they're near the top.
Yeah, that's the last time for them.
And, you know, you hate to do it to the Cubs, but when you play them once every 3, 4, 5 years, you're going to talk about it. It's just kind of the way it is. Castro, Scherholz, Soriano. So it's the heart of the order. Griffin's been very good. He's given up 1 hit. He's got 5 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. Jam shot, and Rosales dives. He's got it, then throws, but just a bit late. Heck of a play by Rosales. He actually made it closer at first than I thought he would.
Especially with the spin of Castro, and ball got it on the hands of Castro, and looked like it's going to be easily into center field. And there goes Rosales for the dive, and Mazily gets up so quickly and play at first base. You figure why even throw, but an infielder would make that play just in case the hitter stumbles out of the batter's box. I don't think it really matters. A lot of guys would just give him the Olay and just say, let him have the base hit, but not Adam Rosales. Nope.
So that's hit number 2, and here's Scherholz. Scherholz struck out swinging. Rolls that one foul. As Ray mentioned, Nate went to high school, San Ramon Valley High School. So he's probably got a long pass list, although played for the Giants. He probably knows all about the long pass list. People want to come out and see him play. Little flare. Lowry goes back, can't get it. Hustling towards second, and Castro safe. So it's going to be a hit. The bat ended up right near shallow second base.
And you have to wonder how much that affected Judd Lowry, because as long as this ball was in the air, he broke in initially and just kept backpedaling back towards the outfield. No chance for Josh Reddick, but very, very good base running by Castro, avoiding the bat. And then what do? And really, if Lowry catches the ball, Castro can get back to first base just because Lowry was backpedaling. But I'm surprised that the ball dropped, considering the length of time it was in the air.
Now you got a couple power hitters to deal with. And the first pitch to the backstop. It bounces right back to throw to third, and he's safe. How many times can the A's get a break on that play? They almost did again. Norris had it bounce right back to him, and they almost got Castro at third. Goes as a wild pitch when it all settles down.
And if Castro's not running hard from the beginning, he's out.
Watch the batting gloves. They flew out at second base, and they flew out at third base.
But third base umpire Manny Gonzalez waiting to see if the overslide of third base might have created an out, or at least for Donaldson to make the put out.
1-1 to Soriano. Outside. Remember, Ray, we talk about the lead leg when a runner is sliding.
Yep.
We see this so often. Watch the lead leg. Now, you think that's the first foot that's going to hit the bag, right?
No.
It goes right over
Yep.
top. I mean, that's like a 2-foot difference.
Yeah, you're right.
And you see a lot of guys tagged out because of that.
They are tagged, and they can't believe they're called out. But once they see the foot elevated like that, then It's pretty obvious, but that's why good base stealers and good base runners slide it with a foot to the ground.
Long run for Reddick, still on the move, and it's fouled. But that super slow-mo, X-Mo really showed you what we're talking about. And it's strange. What you really want is that first leg to hit the front of the bag, and then you're there, and you stop right there.
And you know why that happened? You saw his batting gloves pop out. He hit the ground so hard with his backside.
Leg comes up.
His leg comes up automatically. When you hit the ground that hard, you're automatically going to come up. And guys will slide straight in with the foot staying close to the ground into the bag.
And that one's drilled, and that's trouble. And this game is tied. Soriano launches one, and it's a 3-3 game.
And there's one bad inning for A.J. Griffin, and it just happened. An infield hit, a broken bat hit, and a home run. That was no doubt. Tried to go inside with a fastball and left it out where the power hitter could extend his arms. Look at this. See how far inside Norris was, how far he had to reach back. And I don't care if it's cool weather, hot weather, that ball's going to travel. Soriano's done that throughout his career.
382nd career home run. He is still a dangerous hitter.
One hit in the first 3 innings. A.J. Griffin given up 5 strikeouts, and then back-to-back hits. No shutout tonight.
Soriano just tied Jim Rice and Frank Howard on the all-time home run list. Soriano's going to hit a few more. He had a very hot second half last year, and he's had a chance to be traded a number of times, but he's got a no trade. And he's a 10-5 guy, and he's turned down a couple trades. And a 4-pitch walk to Rizzo after the home run.
But this is what Soriano's always done throughout his career, extend his arms. That's why they wanted to try to pitch him in. Gets a great extension. He uses a heavy bat, long bat. He's not into the 30-ounce, 31-ounce bats. It's heavy. One of the rare players that still uses a heavy bat.
Well, he can still whip it through the zone. There's no doubt about it. So a quick turn of events here in the top of the 4th inning as Deanna Navarro steps up.
Now batting, number 30.
Pitcher spot must be coming up in the batting order.
Huh.
Now they've got a reliever. The Cubs do, with Cubs tying this game. That is Villanueva or Villanueva.
Whatever you want to go.
Whatever you want to go. Pronounce the L's. Don't pronounce the A's.
That one's line foul. Well, new life for that guy, but I got to believe now he's probably on a short leash. The fact that the Cubs have come back and tied it. Russin has not been sharp in this game. And a breaking ball in Navarro. He swung about as hard as the pitch came in, and he missed it. 0-2 the count.
Well, AJ, after the 4-pitch walk to Rizzo, mixing up his pitches to Navarro, maybe that's something Kurt Young discussed with him.
Rizzo, the runner at first, 0-2 the count. Bogusevic is in the on-deck circle. Right there, strike 3 call. Strikeout number 6 for Griffin.
Yeah, that changeup was supposed to be outside. Look where Norris is, and look at the pitch. He had to reach back for that, and almost thankful that Navarro decided to take the pitch. Maybe he peeked and saw that Norris was out of the strike zone with his setup, and as a catcher himself, maybe they're going to waste a pitch right down the middle of the changeup.
Bogusevic struck out swinging in the 2nd inning.
Fastball is inside. The Angels lead the Cardinals 5-0 in the fourth inning. The Angels trying to remain hot. They're looking for their 7th consecutive win. And it is a final. The Mariners beat the Rangers 9-2. First of a 3-game series in Arlington. That's it. East Coast games and Central Time Zone games, so most of the games in the American League are final or very close to being final. National League as well. If you're just joining us, we had a no-hitter. Homer Bailey no-hit the Giants tonight, 3-0. One base runner was a walk. So that's your lead story around baseball tonight.
I remember the Rangers losing tonight, half-game lead over the A's starting play tonight, but they have to be happy with their former player, Alfonso Soriano. Played for the Rangers and moved all over the infield to accommodate other players coming in different positions.
It's funny, when Soriano came up, of course, he was with the Yankees, and everybody knew about him. He was a very good player. But it's amazing what happens when you leave the Yankees.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And he's still a dangerous hitter. Been with the Cubs for quite a while now.
And he was that period of time when contracts were huge.
He got one.
And being given out. He got a big one. And the 10-5 rule, gotta explain that. If you're in the big leagues for 10 years, last 5 with the same club, then that's the 10-5. You can veto any trade that a club can make or trying to make. And then players, some players, a lot of players have no trades or partial no trades, but the 10-5 by itself.
So automatic. You say no to any trade. They have to literally say, will you go to this team?
Yeah, it can be anybody, whether you have a no trade or not. The 10-5 automatically puts you in that.
Runner goes, and that's a base hit, broken bat. Rizzo is going to try for third. He looks back twice. Better be careful. Wants to make sure that Reddick isn't going to come up throwing. So it's first and third with one out. Bogusevic broke his bat, but with Fryman playing in, Fryman could not get to it.
And again, the location probably not exactly where he wanted it, and as a result, the ball finding the hole.
So 4 hits and a walk in this inning after giving up just 1 hit in the first 3 innings for Griffin. So Darwin Barney steps in. Slider outside.
Seems like for A.J. Griffin, it's amazing how just going to have 1 bad inning.
Strange, isn't it?
It is unbelievably strange. And maybe the best thing for him in his start against Cincinnati happened with the first batter, first couple of batters. Got through it, sailed through the last 8 innings. Sailed through the first 3 in this game, and a huge bump in the road in this 4th inning.
Barney fouled out. Yeah, you could throw all kinds of theories out there. Second time through the lineup tonight, but we figure Castro was an infield hit. Scherholz was just a bloop hit. Soriano unloaded. Bogusevic, broken bat. Swing and a miss. Barney helped out Griffin, and the count is 2-2.
Off the plate, and that's what you want to get. A guy to try to chase, and he did. Best scenario would be to ground out, hitting the ball hard to the left side on a pitch away from him.
And that one's hit down the left field line. Cespedes over. Warning track. He's got it. Rizzo's going to tag, and he will hustle in to score. A hanging breaking ball, and Darwin Barney with a sacrifice fly, and the Cubs now have a 4-3 lead.
Almost lucky that wasn't a 3-run home run. It's a slow curve. Remember, he started the batter with it, but with 2 strikes, again, hitters have a tendency to shorten up, and gets out on the front foot, realizes it, still strong enough to almost hit it out. Stop the warning track in left field.
And that's past Norris. Bogusevic will go to second. And Griffin really pulled that one. So that's a couple of wild pitches in this inning by A.J. Griffin. So very strange hitting for him.
You're right about overthrowing, and he's too good of a pitcher to do this, especially to miss that badly.
This is Wellington Castillo, the catcher, who struck out looking in the 3rd inning. All right, Carlos Villanueva has been warming up down there for quite a while. I bet he's coming in.
I think once the game was tied, he was coming in because he started heating up fast.
He's been down there and he's ready. I don't know that for sure, but it just seems a little bit strange.
Yeah, I don't know that he would have gotten up that quickly when Soriano hit the home run and started getting loose that quickly, and not to come in and to be standing around the way he is.
Swing and a miss. Good changeup. Good location. So 2-2 to Castillo. And that one's looped into center field, and that's a base hit. Bogusevic has good speed. He's going to come in to score. And the Cubs have scored 5 times here in the top of the 4th inning. That was a hanging breaking ball, and
really is surprising that he's continuing to throw the slow curveball with 2 strikes. Really, it's better suited, it seems, on the first pitch to fully hit it, but with a couple of strikes, hitters are forced to swing the bat with 2 strikes. When you throw it the first pitch, the hitter will take it. But 2 strikes, if it's close, they're going to swing, and that's the case. Barney and Castillo with a slow curve.
So top of the order in Valbuena, and the Cubs have batted around here in the 4th. Blevins will start to get loose. And that's a base hit to right field by Valbuena. That one was hit hard. It's a head scratcher inning for A.J. Griffin. He's given up 6 hits and a walk.
You could look at the broken bats, but you can also look at the hits with runners in scoring position and pitches that have been elevated. The last one was
37 pitches this inning.
Number 13.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, he's through 3 innings. He looks just like he did his last start. You're thinking he's backing up a shutout with another great performance.
36 the first 3, 37 and this the 4th, and not out of it yet.
So here's Castro, 2 on, 2 out. Fastball is outside.
It almost seems like when the A's scored the first 3 runs so easily that it was saying, it's kind of easy night, you know.
Who knows, huh?
But you get a wake-up call quickly at this level, because these, especially the pitches that are not made, at least the ones that you're trying to make, and the location is not where you want them.
Castro started the inning with a single, and it's a pop-up behind first, and Reddick is there, and he makes the catch. Side retired. 5 runs for the Cubs, 3 coming on Soriano's home run. Bottom of the 4th coming up. Cubs 5, A's 3. Major League Baseball teams that have gone over 50 years without a World Series title. Cubs 104 years. Indians 64. The Rangers are on there, and the Astros are on there. And, of course, the two Texas teams have never won a World Series. The list, folks. It's the list.
And the Rangers don't even want to be on that list because they were within a strike twice of being off that list.
Yeah.
But I think the most impressive would be in 05 and 04 and 05. Because the Red Sox and the White Sox were on that list next to the Cubs and the Indians. They were right there.
They were on it. Giants were on it for a long time, very long.
Because they were 54.
Yeah. So there's some teams that have got themselves off the list.
But for actually for 3 teams within 05, 6, and 10.
That's right.
That 3 teams said, we're not on it anymore.
Thank you, huh? Well, so the last World Series title, 1908. Cubs actually won in 1907 and 1908, 2 years in a row, and that was it. Now, it's not like they haven't been to the World Series since then, and they were a bunch of times, but even a World Series appearance has now been a long time. 1945 was the last time the Cubs were in the World Series.
And of course, they had to throw in the Billy Goat.
That's really what it comes down to. You kick a Billy Goat out of a bar. I mean, come on. Can't do that.
But, you know, I think from the Cubs fans, they kind of love it, you know. They're the lovable
There's
Cubbies,
something
you know?
about it.
Yeah, and like the Red Sox for all those years. What, 1918 was the last time they had won. And now they want them to win it every year.
Rizzo, close play. Russin gets there, and Reddick, hustling as always, is retired. I think you become that, and the popular phrase is lovable losers. Dale Swaim's coming out, and he is going to make the change. So he wanted the lefty Russin to face the lefty Reddick. And Russin is going to be retired after 3 1/3. So probably not thrilled with that, but that's the way it is. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts.
A special patriotic themed show presented by GovX.com begins after the A's play the Cubs here at the O.Co Coliseum. Bring the family and enjoy the show from the outfield grass. On-field capacity is limited. For more information and tickets, go to OaklandAthletics.com/fireworks. Should be a good one tomorrow night. The lovable Cubbies in town for a 3-game series. Fireworks show tomorrow night. And Independence Day, America's birthday, is on Thursday. A day game, 1 o'clock, 1:05 start.
Carlos Villanueva comes in. A valuable man on the pitching staff for the Cubs. He can start, can also come out of the bullpen. It's one of those names that's out there in trade rumors a fair amount because he can do a couple different things for you. Chris Russin, 3 1/3, 6 hits, gave up a couple of home runs.
He probably thought he could get 5 more outs and qualify for a win, but he did a very good job, even though he gave up 3 runs on a couple of home runs. So the A's left-handed lineup starts. Right-hander comes in the 4th inning. A.J. Griffin trying to figure it out.
So you may ask, well, is that by design by Dale Svein, the Cubs manager? In this case, probably not. The Cubs only have one left-handed reliever, James Russell, and he's very good. I mean, he's not somebody you're going to use earlier in the game. They have 7 right-handers, 6 right-handers, and 1 left-hander down in their bullpen. Norris hits one high and foul. We were talking about the Cubs and how the fans are still very loyal, and even though they have not won in a long time. But what you think what happened in 2003, though, made them a little bit bitter when they were so close to going to the World Series. Not winning the World Series, going to the World Series. Leading the Marlins in the National League Championship Series. Things got a little weird, of course,
but that wasn't the final game of the series.
No, no, you're right.
And they had to lead the next game.
They did. Yeah. But they were up 3-1 in that 2003 National League Championship Series. But the weirdness, of course, came in Game 6 when the Cubs were up 3-0. They were 5 outs from going to the World Series, and Mark Pryor was dealing. Yeah. And I remember watching it and saying, the Marlins are not going to get anything off this guy, and things started to unravel. First play with the fan was what everybody remembers, but the Marlins scored 8 runs in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
Lose Game 6, and then, as you said, they had an early lead in Game 7, ended up losing 9-6. Marlins win the series and go on and win the World Series. That was a very good Cubs team, but they just could not finish it.
The Marlins 97 and 03, and an expansion team.
The Cubs' most recent trips to the postseason were 2007 and 2008, and they were swept both times. But their 2008 team won 97 games and then swept in the first round. So disappointment there. 3-2 pitch is inside, and it's a walk.
That's a quality at bat by Derek Norris. Some very close pitches that he did not swing at and were not called by Tony Randazzo.
So Sogard is going to pinch hit here in the 4th inning. So Rosales gets 1 at bat. He singles, plays 4 innings of defense, and he's going to be done for the night.
Number 28, Aaron Sogard.
So here comes Sogard. Sogard 265 with 9 RBIs. First pitch, sinker at the knees, first strike.
I think Eric Sogard and Adam Rosales, guys who are kind of in a platoon situation, said it best. You have to be prepared early because in this case, just the 4th inning, the A's are down. If the A's were leading, this would not be happening. Adam Rosales with 1 at bat, and he had to feel great about himself getting the hit left field because he had been struggling. he started because of that young man, Chris Russell, who made the start instead of Scott Philbin, who was traded to the Orioles.
One pitch to Sogard is outside. Well, tomorrow it's supposed to be Matt Garza, and he is expected to be traded at some point here in July. Gotta get Nerd Power out.
They brought
Put away Rosie.
Yeah. Well, see, they thought Feldman was pitching also because they brought the sign. Sure. And the right-hander, so Sogi's going to be in the lineup. Rolled it up. Now I get to unroll it. Yeah, Garza's name has been bandied around quite a bit.
He's going to go.
I saw him. He was going in the weight room, and I said, geez, your name's been around a lot. He said, it always is.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you're a good pitcher, then teams want you. Teams always want pitching.
Two and two. Norris is the runner at first. Cubs with a 5 spot in the top of the 4th inning to erase the 3-0 A's lead. Outside. It is a Cubs team that has been playing better as of late. They've won 6 out of their last 9. They're still 10 games under 500. Throw first. The Cubs just took 2 out of 3 in Seattle. Before that, took 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee on the first 2 stops of this 9-game road trip for them. That's the problem right there. 11 and 25 within their own division. Norris runs and the pitch is line foul. It's tough to get anything going if you're playing that poorly within your own division. Doesn't help that Pittsburgh, St. Louis, and Cincinnati are all in your division. It's 3 very tough teams.
And you have to play those teams the most.
Yeah.
With the new format, new scheduling.
Sogard hits a high pop-up shallow left. Soriano still coming in, and there's a collision, and the ball squirts away. Norris is going to go to third. He'll stop there. Sogard stops at second, and the A's catch a break.
Well, how about some communication, because there was 0. Castro out. This is the outfielder's ball. And if Soriano was not calling him off, Castro, I got it. I got it. Can you understand me, please? Because Castro kept going. And, you know, they're fortunate this was real grass. It was actually in the glove. I guess in Castro's glove, and then Soriano's glove knocked it off. But if this artificial surface, 2-run score. The ball would have kept rolling, but the grass stopped it. And fortunately, guys were hustling and able to get to second and third. So with that break, see if they can capitalize. Castro gets the air.
Yep. It's another major mistake by the Cubs. That's their 59th error this year. They're down at the bottom as far as National League fielding percentage goes. Breaking ball is in the dirt to Coco Crisp.
The same Ranger fans and Rangers are cheering Soriano, not cheering so loudly now.
Yep.
But he was calling it, and that's the old play about
yep.
outfielder comes in, the infielder goes out. If the infielder hears the outfielder, you get out of the way and let the outfielder, who has a better angle, coming in to make the play.
Castillo and Villanueva finish up their meeting. Pitch is hit hard into right field, and that's a base hit. Here comes Sogard. The throw to the plate is late, and just like that, the game is tied. So a huge mistake by the Cubs, and the A's take advantage.
Well, Coco Chris just seems to come up at the right time and found the hole on the right side. Villanueva elevated a pitch, and because the ball is on the ground, and even though one out, but the ball on the ground, Sherhost throws extremely well, but Sogard able to go on contact, and Mike Gallego is not going to stop him. If the ball's got any elevation off, it's in the air, he's going to have to hold up a little bit. Soriano can't believe it, but the A's taking advantage, and remember, a walk started with one out. Great at bat by Derek Norris, and it seemed like Villanueva was afraid to challenge Derek Norris, kept throwing him off-speed pitches, and they kept taking them. It's pretty impressive with the runners in scoring position, the average, and what they've done in the last 6 games for the A's, and none bigger than this tonight.
0-1 to Lowry, who has grounded out and struck out.
Coco's probably thinking about getting the scoring position by stealing another base.
Pitch is a bit high, 1-1. Coco had a steal in the second inning. It was his 14th of the year.
All the off-speed pitches for Villanueva. Maybe he's staying there to give Jed Lowry the hole between first and second, or maybe just trying to pick up his move.
Another pop-up. More action for Soriano and Castro, and it is Castro who makes a very fine catch.
Soriano didn't bother to call him off either. He just, if you're going to go, go. And that was a great play because came very close. Got in the triangle, and Soriano charging in, but it was Castro who made the play.
Number 52, Yoenis Cespedes.
And you know what? That's Soriano's ball as well.
Exactly. I agree. I agree.
So that's out number 2, and here's Cespedes.
And for a shortstop to run that far and have to reach back to make a play, and the left fielder standing there. Soriano has excellent speed. Remember, he's 40-40 or 30-30. I think he's 40-40 at one time. So he's got speed, always has. It was 40-40. So that kind of speed was an infielder. He's moved to the outfield. With the Cubs anyway. Probably hasn't been a Gold Glove outfielder, I don't think. Swinging the bat maybe, but not playing defense.
And Coco's going to be picked off. And they're calling out of the baseline, so he's out. And that's how the bottom of the 4th comes to an end. So costly error by the Cubs, and the A's take advantage. Coco with a 2-run single, so we're tied at 5 after 4. is brought to you by Grown Ups 2 in theaters July 12th. Wild one, 5-5, Cubs and A's, top of the 5th inning. Crowd tonight, 17,273. Tomorrow night will be July 3rd, night game, and there'll be fireworks after the game. And big crowd is expected. There are some seats available, though, so you still got a chance to get your tickets and come on out to the ballpark tomorrow night. Should be fun. Fireworks are always terrific. See Lowry now at short, Sogard at second. But there are some seats available, so get your tickets, come on out. Scherholz, Soriano, Rizzo, 3, 4, and 5. Scherholz bounces one toward Fryman, and that is out number 1. So Scherholz grounds out. He's 1 for 3. And that'll bring up Soriano.
Now batting, number 12, Alfonso Soriano.
Not A.J. Griffin walking back slowly to the mound. Derek Norris out in front of home plate, kind of moving the dirt around and getting the opportunity to try to let his pitcher catch a breath.
So he needs a shutdown inning here. He's about to throw his 80th pitch in the game. Soriano got a fastball that fouled it back. Soriano, a 3-run homer in the 4th inning. And now it's 0-2. He will take a rip at a fastball if he gets one. Chase a little bit occasionally, but
you use a heavy bat, you have to start, you have to load early. But when he can extend his arms as he did on the home run, the ball's going to travel. The location of the pitch supposed to be inside, ends up outside, and he's able to extend the arms. And that is the old sweet part of the bat. That's the back wall in left center field.
0-2 pitch, and that one's drilled toward left center field. Coco's going back, and he's going to make the catch, make that Chris Young, Chris Young gets back there. That one may have been off the end of the bat a little bit.
It was just a little bit of a cut fastball slider that instead of it being the sweet part of the bat, you get it towards the end, it's going to keep it in the park. But he'll buggy whip. He can do it. See, great shot with the Tommy cam. We could see it towards the end of the bat.
So 2 outs for Rizzo. Rizzo pops it up. So Griffin looks like he's going to get his easy inning, and he does. 8-pitch inning, 3 up, 3 down. Bottom of the 5th coming up. It'll be Cespedes, Donaldson, and Fryman.
receive a MLB Network drawstring backpack presented by MLB Network when the A's play the Red Sox. For more information and tickets, go to oaklandathletics.com/tickets.
Villanueva back to work as gave up a couple of unearned runs in the 4th inning. Tied the game 5-5. Cespedes, Donaldson, and Fryman. On the ground towards short. Castro has it. Straightens up. Throws. And they just got it.
When you talk about hustle and fast, Cespedes almost beat it out. Castro got his feet tangled up a little bit. This ball off the end of the bat. Cespedes though out. Castro might have taken one extra step and it was close.
Josh Donaldson.
There's the bang bang. The tie goes to the fielder because that was as close as there could be. And Larry Vanover making the call.
Here's Donaldson with 1 out. First pitch is outside, so see if this will tell you.
2 inches. And that angle looked like the ball was in Rizzo's glove. His extra stretch might have helped him.
Swing and a miss by Donaldson, even the count at 1-1. 2-run homer in the first for Donaldson and a pop up to short in the 3rd. Angels leading the Cardinals 5-1 in the 6th inning. That curve stays high. Everything else is final except for that game and this game. Everything else is final in the American League. Donaldson got another off-speed pitch and fouled this one at home plate. Everything is final in the National League. Looked like Tony Randazzo, the home plate umpire, caught a little this one.
Tough when the ball bounces and the catcher is there, not there to protect it. That's why I stand behind the catcher. I'd get all the protection I can get.
Big time.
Get the shin guards, chest protector, mask. And the catcher's got all that stuff, plus he's big. Hide behind it. He moves, you move.
Castro again. He waits. He's going to have to hurry. And they just got Donaldson. A little hesitation by Castro right before he fielded it.
Well, both of these hitters have gotten out of the box very quickly because the ball's been hit off the end of the bat, so they're kind of running out as soon as they make contact. And this time I think Larry Vanover, let's see, and the call. The ball bounces. Oh my. That's what upset Donaldson because he saw the ball bounce into Rizzo's glove, but the size of the first baseman's mitt probably blocked Vanover when he caught it. At that time he was safe. Great hustle, not rewarded.
Here's Fryman. Changeup drops in first strike. Castro will make some errors. He's got 15. But a lot of talent. There's a shot to right. Another hit for Fryman. He's 2 for 3. He's got a little right field stroke going.
Yes, he does. And you know, if you don't play a lot, why are you going to go up and try to open up and hit home runs. Just take what you're given. And they look at his size and probably say, we can't take a chance of pitching him inside and make a mistake, so pitch him away. Instead of Nate Fryman trying to pull those pitches, he's hitting them perfectly to the opposite field.
So that is hit number 8 for the A's. Pretty good balance from Fryman. First pitch off speed, a strike to Chris Young.
And the difference last inning, the A's were down by a couple of runs, so Rosales had Sogard pinch hit for him. But in this inning, with a tie score, Nate Fryman, who had singled in his last at bat, gets a chance to stay in the game. Since the A's were able to capitalize on the error last inning.
Home run and a strikeout for Young. The home run was his 8th of the year. Another breaking ball. This one spins outside. So the A's have seen everybody in the National League Central except for the Pirates, which we will see on our next road trip. In Pittsburgh. Young hits one very high. Foul territory right near the A's bullpen. And it's going to be Castro and Soriano. And Castro makes the catch and grabs his hamstring a little bit. Side retired. A hit and a runner left. And we're headed to the 6th inning. It's a 5-5 game. Ninth of this year, Cubs catcher Deanna Navarro, 3 home runs in 1 game at Wrigley Field, and he did it against the White Sox. Both sides of the plate. First catcher for the Cubs since George Mitterwald did it on April 17, 1994 versus Pittsburgh. 3 homers, 6 RBIs that day for Deanna Navarro. Forget that. George Mitterwald.
Yeah,
I remember that guy. Big guy, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. George actually managed the Modesto A's. I want to say the Modesto A's 1984 for the A's. Yeah. Good catcher, good hitter. Played for the Twins also.
Well, Navarro leading things off, followed by Bogusevic and Barney. 6, 7, and 8 in the Cubs lineup. And it's 1 and 2. Griffin had a 8-pitch, 3 up, 3 down 5th inning, so he was able to bounce back after a very difficult 4th inning. In that 4th inning, he gave up 5 runs and 6 hits.
40 pitches.
Griffin has 5 strikeouts. And he has walked 1. Changeup is reached for, foul back. But we were talking about that National League Central with just saw the Cardinals and the Reds. The A's played very good against those two teams, winning 4 out of 5. So the Brewers in Milwaukee, Cubs here, and Pittsburgh Pirates, team with the best record in the major leagues. That is where the A's will be on their next road trip, Kansas City and Pittsburgh.
And
Pirates lost tonight, so that breaks their 9-game winning streak. Cardinals are losing, and the Reds, of course, with the no-hitter won. So the Reds 4 back. So that's a good 3-team race. Little flip job, Young coming in, and it's going to drop. Navarro is 2 for 3, and that's the 8th hit for the Cubs.
something about A.J. Griffin pitching and giving up soft singles to center. First hit against him in the 5th inning on Wednesday's game was hit softly into center. Actually, like it might have been a catchable ball. This one, though, maybe not.
So Blevins, who was up earlier, gets up again. 92 pitches for Griffin. And there's a little flare. Young coming in, and that's going to drop for a hit. So Bogusevic has a couple of. That was not a broken bat signal. His signal in the 4th inning was. This one was just a little jam shot. Actually off the end of the bat.
Yeah, you swing hard and sometimes good things happen.
Now batting, number 15, Darwin Barney.
So 2 on, nobody out, and here's Darwin Barney. Everybody looking down at the Cubs third base coach, who is David Bell. How about that?
That's right.
From a big leaguer, son of Buddy Bell.
Buddy Bell's name also is David.
That's right. David is, he's like one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Had a good career.
Mikey Fallon said he walked in the clubhouse and didn't know where the coach's room was. He went straight to the locker room, which he had when he came in here as a player.
No, he doesn't look like a coach. He
No.
looks like he's 25 years old. Barney pops it up. Infield fly rule is called.
I see there's your 8th place hitter with the pitcher in the on-deck circle. These National League rules don't apply in the American League cities, and given the green light, no sacrifice.
Yeah, I was thinking he may be bunting there as
Now
well.
batting, number 53.
So here's Wellington Castillo. Castillo, strikeout and a single, and the first pitch is high. David Bell played on those very good Mariners teams.
He did, yeah.
Spent 1 year with the Giants and went to the World Series with them.
I think that David Bell did so well when the team moved over to Safeco Field. He adapted to the field. Thought he hit a lot of gap base hits, opposite field hits, and his daddy taught him well. Yeah, great player, Gold Glove third baseman, power hitter.
Mishak joins Blevins in the 8th bullpen.
Did you ever think that you could find a finer gentleman than Buddy Bell?
No, you will not, actually.
No, he is, always was and always will be a gentleman. David Bell's just like his dad.
1-1 pitch is drilled. Center Young going back, and he can't get it. It's over his head. 1 run scores. Bogusevic is going to be held. He runs right through the stop sign, and the throw is late. And now going to third, Castillo. He's going to be tagged out on the rundown. But Castillo with a booming double over the head of Young in center field, and it brings home a pair of runs. Wow.
Well, so much for the sacrifice. That's going to do it for A.J. Griffin. And throw him the slider and did not slide sharply away and hit it hard enough. Chris Young could not track it down. And going through the stop sign, there's one. You better stop. No, and the throw offline, and this Derek Norris off balance throw. A.J. Griffin did a great job to get to second base.
So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Now pitching.
The game started well for Griffin. He was very good his first 3 innings, but ends up giving up 7 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings. So Blevins takes over with 2 outs and nobody on here in the 6th. 2 runs in. Faces Luis Valbuena. (5-0), 3.12 ERA for Blevins. And there's a line drive base hit to right field by Valbuena. He's 2 for 4. 11 hits now for the Cubs.
Fastball again, the elevation. One thing Jerry Blevins doing, he's elevating his pitches, whether the cutter, the hanging curve that he threw to Ibanez in Seattle.
Well, what we're seeing Jerry Blevins for the first time this year is he's in a pitcher slump.
Yep.
He's been struggling lately. So good for a long time, but he's allowed 7 runs in his last 6 2/3 innings. That covers 8 appearances. Neshek has been warming up, so he's ready. Swing and a miss by Starlin Castro. Castro is 1 for 3.
Well, the A's caught a break when Castro made an error. At least he was given the error, and the A's would score a couple of unearned runs, but that's when they were down 2. Now they're down 2 again. I don't know that you can always count on the breaks coming like that with errors. Although the one thing Theo Epstein said, that the president coming over from Red Sox, said they have a tendency not to put away teams early when they have a chance, and then the bullpen struggles at the end. So let's hope that holds true. The bullpen's already in the game for the Cubs with their starter Russell going just 3 1/3.
Their closer is Kevin Gregg. Of course, we've seen him many times. He's actually pitched extremely well for them. Sometimes it's the 7th and 8th inning that can get you. More often than not, it probably is. inside to Castro. Schuerholz would be next, but there are 2 outs. A couple of runs in for the Cubs. Castro, a ground out, a single, and a fly ball to right field. Foul back. Castro really actually struggling this year. Batting average in the 230s. Probably forget how young he is. He's 23 years old.
And he has the long-term contract.
Yes, he does. Strike 3 called. He knew it right on the inside corner. 2 runs on 4 hits for the Cubs. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Chicago 7, the A's 5. California is brought to you by Grinds Coffee Pouches. Get the product the players use and visit getgrinds.com today. Nice night at the ballpark. Game 1 of this 3-game series between the A's and the Cubs. Wrapping up a long homestand for the Cubs, or for the A's, excuse me. Well, the All-Star break isn't that far away.
Well, I was just thinking about that with the A's 3 off days and 9 days basically, and then play, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12 games, and then gets 4 more.
Yep, that's right. Reddick is retired. There's the A's 16-12 in April, 16-12 in May, and 16-11 in June. That's pretty. I mean, you win 16 games in a month. That's pretty darn good. You do it 3 months in a row. I guess that's how you get the 3rd best record in the American League, which, coming into today, anyways, that's what the A's have. It is the 2nd of July.
That is Coco Crisp.
Yes, it's not a newly acquired player. First pitch to Derek Norris. Norris has singled, and he has walked, and he has scored a run. Angels still leading the Cardinals 5-1. That game now in the 7th inning. Rangers have lost. Pitch number 37 coming up for Carlos Villanueva, who came on in relief with 1 out in the 4th inning.
Probably should have started the game as long as he's been pitching.
He has started 8 games this year.
And that's not surprising, just because the pitches he throws would indicate that he has been a starter or does start, because he will not just come in and throw nothing but fastballs or sliders like a lot of relievers do.
He actually looks like he's got 3 or 4 pitches.
Yeah.
So 1-2 to Norris with Sogard waiting in the on-deck circle. And a breaking ball and a good one, and Norris strikes out. That's the first strikeout for Villanueva.
Looked like maybe he thought he had foul tipped the ball, but just the hard breaking ball. He looked back, maybe to see if Castillo was blocking the ball, which he did. He was able to catch it and make the tag out.
Doolittle starts to throw. Well, you mentioned all the off days the A's have had lately. Certainly does wonders for a bullpen.
But what does it do for the timing of the hitters and everybody else? The A's will play straight through until the All-Star break, and at that point they'll get 4 days, which all of baseball does now.
Still no word on if Jared Parker will be able to go on Thursday. He is still scheduled to pitch. I think the A's want to see how he feels tomorrow. So we'll see if Parker is able to go on Thursday. Strike down around the knees. Well, this was earlier today. Parker threw a bullpen. He's just warming up a little bit. Remember, it's his right leg, so it's the push-off leg, the leg that stays on the rubber. Valbuena, the third baseman, right into the coach's box. He's got it, and Villanueva has a very nice 3-up, 3-down inning, and we are moving to the 7th inning from the Coliseum. 7-5 Cubs. Cubs with a 7-5 lead, top of the 7th inning. So Scherholz to lead it off against Blevins, and he swings and misses. Scherholz, Soriano, and Rizzo.
I think there's a lot to be said about off days. It just seems like you have an off day, it takes a little while to get started again. Maybe the A's going to need that in the last 9 outs to try to recover. Although Cubs had the off day as well. A lot of teams had the off days yesterday. The game is to be played every day.
Yeah. So an off day once in a while is fine, but 3 and 8 days is a lot.
And really, the time you don't need them. You need them more. I mean, August, even September.
2-2 now to Scherholz, who is 1 for 3.
A half season, 81, 82 games. You get that many off days. You know, as the season progresses, that's when the guys get a little bit tired or more tired.
Fisted foul as Scherholz gets jammed. That's Blake Parker, right-hander, throwing for the Cubs. So lefty on lefty, Blevins and Scherholz. The bullpen is quiet. Curve, swing and a miss by Scherholz. So Blevins snapped off a good one there.
A very hard throwing curveball, and that's an important thing for a lefty on lefty. And Jerry Blevins started it at Scherholz. Buckled the knees a little bit, not much left in the swing to make contact.
Well, Scherholz now 1 for 4 as Soriano steps in.
So if the curveball floats, and it's lefty on lefty, righty on righty, then much different. Ibanez has proven that.
Here's Soriano, 1 for 3 with a 3-run homer. Good swing, fouled it back. A couple of interesting notes from around baseball today. Of course, a no-hitter by Homer Bailey, but Michael Kadyr's hitting streak ended at 27 for the Colorado Rockies. Clayton Kershaw ended it, so he shouldn't feel too bad. So 27-game hitting streak comes to an end for Michael Kadir.
Thought his comment was great when he got to 26. He said, I only need 30 more to tie.
Yeah, big deal.
The greatest.
That's all.
Only need 30 more. 56-game hitting streak. But I got a lot of attention. I mean,
yeah.
Every day. Did he get a hit?
Fastball is high. And with all the trade talk this time of year, Josh Willingham, of course, terrific season with the A's. Now with the Twins, his name is always out there because he's still a very good run producer, but arthroscopic knee surgery, and he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So that basically takes him pretty much off the trade table, if he was on there at all.
And the Twins only 6.5 back in the Central Division.
I know.
7 under 500 starting play tonight, and that's one reason that teams don't trade a lot of guys. Cubs are 10 under 500 in a very tough division.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that if players are trade, they might do it.
3-1 pitch popped up. Soriano got a pitch to hit. And Blevins took a little off. Donaldson has it.
MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At bat delivers Oakland Athletics baseball with audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit OaklandAthletics.com for details. I thought with Andy Pettitte passing great Whitey Ford for most strikeouts in Yankee history. As we talked earlier, if he had gone 3 years to Houston, he would have passed him for the most wins. As the chairman, Mighty Ford, and strikeouts, wins, but
so Rizzo, the hitter. Red Sox extended their lead over the Orioles in the East today. Now a 3.5 game lead for Boston. Well, the Red Sox just continue to play good baseball. Waved at and missed, and it's 0-2. And you mentioned the Central, right? The Indians are in first place. They won their 5th in a row tonight. So they had a half-game lead over the second-place Tigers. Outside, 1-2.
just have to wonder if the Tigers and Jonathan Papelbon's name, closer for the Phillies, been around quite a bit. Tigers still looking for a closer. Have to wonder if the Phillies are going to make some moves. Chase Utley's name has been bantered
Big
around
time.
a bit.
Michael Young's name.
Yeah.
Well, we still shake our heads a little bit that the Texas Rangers traded Michael Young. Still a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, well, the only thing, they just felt they couldn't give him enough at bats, and I guess last year of a contract. But whoa, what a professional hitter, especially as a hitter. Tough out.
Swing and miss. Good pitch by Blevins in on the hands of Rizzo. So Jerry Blevins has a 3-up, 3-down inning. 7th inning stretch from the Coliseum. 7-5 Cubs. Coliseum 7-5. The Cubs lead the A's, and top of the Athletics lineup will face a new pitcher when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. It's Blake Parker, right-hander. He's 28 years old. He's called up beginning of June, and he's pitched well. You see his ERA is very good in the low 2s. Pitched a little bit for the Cubs last year. So he's trying to solidify himself in the Cubs bullpen.
We are accustomed to seeing hard throwing relievers come in mid to upper 90s, but that has not been the case with the Cubs so far.
Villanueva goes 2 2/3 innings, gives up 2 unearned runs. So 3 more shots for the A's. That went down around the knees, first strike. So Russin goes 3 1/3. Villanueva goes 2 2/3 to get it to the 7th inning.
When the starter doesn't go enough innings to qualify for a win, they call the guys coming in vultures. Because the win's on the line, it's up to the relievers if they hang on to get it. But the A's hopeful that that will not be the case.
In this case, what you're talking about would be Villanueva, who came in with 1 out in the 4th inning, and while he was in there, the Cubs took the lead. Even though the A's did tie it against him. But he is in line. But also by rule, I guess the official scorer has the final say in who gets credited with the win.
When the starter doesn't go qualified innings. 2 runs against him, though, were unearned.
The pitcher, Parker, is called off by Valbuena, and that's out number 1.
Well, Valbuena almost tripped on the mound, too.
He did.
You sit in the bullpen, but you could also see it on the mound. He came in charging in. Of course, the pitcher, as Jerry Blevins tried, but pitcher's calling off after one. He said no. Oh, there's the stumble almost occurred, but pitchers always want to prove their athletes by trying to catch the fly balls like that. But then it's always an infielder that comes in and get out of the way.
Maintains order. First pitch is low. Otero and Doolittle.
That's the second time for Doolittle that he has gotten up in this game.
Lowry's looking for his first hit. And he is not going to get it as he pops it up toward Starlin Castro, and that's out number 2. So Blake Parker has done a nice job getting the first 2 hitters he faces. There's that lone lefty we talked about, James Russell. So Cespedes hits with 2 outs, nobody aboard here in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch, swing and a miss. You know, Ray, we were talking about divisions. The National League West has almost become comical. And I say that with all due respect to the teams involved. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the first place team, lost again tonight. They have lost 5 in a row. They're 42-41. And they are in first place. The Dodgers won. Dodgers the only team in that division that won tonight. And they are now out of first place. The Giants, who have just been playing horrible, are now in last place, 3 games out. Which, again, with all due respect, it's almost comical.
So you're saying it could be the way things are going right now, a sub-500 team wins the division?
Well,
it's not going to happen. Somebody will win, but get a winning record.
Yeah. Arizona's 42-41.
Trevor Cahill's a 10-game loser.
And he's on the DL.
On the DL with a hip injury.
But the Dodgers are playing the best of anybody now. Puig mania taking over. One and 2 to Cespedes. And he pops it up. Castillo near the screen can get him.
That Puig mania, people are calling for him to make the All-Star team.
Well, we said no early on, and I maybe started to change my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
He's going to get on there somehow, I think. Maybe the final vote of the 5 guys.
Yeah, comparable numbers to the great Hall of Famer Joe DiMaggio in his first month of Major League Baseball. Actually, better numbers than Joe DiMaggio had in his first month.
Yeah, he had 3 hits tonight in Colorado, including a 460-foot home run. Fun to watch. Another foul ball. Cespedes had a good rip that time. But we've said many times, if you're whatever division you're in, what you don't want to have is one team kind of run away with it.
Yeah.
Because then you get buried a little bit.
So far, that's not happening in that division.
That is not happening. No, there's no burying going on at all. Good breaking ball, and Cespedes strikes out. So Blake Parker comes in, has a 3-up, 3-down inning. 7 consecutive ace hitters have been retired. 7-5 Cubs after 7.
Jersey on Saturday, July the 13th. 10,000 fans will receive a Josh Reddick green replica jersey. It's presented by Cache Creek Casino Resort, and the A's host the Boston Red Sox. For more information and tickets, call 877-493-BALL or visit oaklandathletics.com/tickets. I don't know if all those baseballs will be around the jersey, but it's a good giveaway anyway.
Looks good.
Yeah.
7-5 the Cubs lead. It's the top of the 8th inning. Deanna Navarro leads off, and he's going to do it against Dan Otero. So Otero comes in out of the bullpen after Blevins goes an inning and a third. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Game number 8 for Otero. Line drive, base hit. Deanna Navarro is 3 for 4. 2 singles and a double. So that is 12 hits now for the Cubs. The Athletics have 8.
Pretty smart hitting. Get you away from him.
47, Brian Bogasevic.
Goes the opposite field. So a guy hits all those home runs. Pretty smart hitter using the whole field.
Here's Bogasevic, who has hurt the A's tonight. He's 2 for 3. 2 singles, and he has scored twice. So just looking at the score sheet, the bottom of the lineup for the Cubs has hurt the Athletics. Navarro with 3 hits. Bogusevic 2. Barney in the A spot's got a sac fly. Castillo in the on deck circle, or in the hole I should say, has got 2 hits and 3 RBIs.
Well, the 2-run double was the big blow. Actually, in that inning, 2 bloops and a longer line drive over the head of Chris Young. 2 dropped in front of him, 1 went over his head.
One-two pitch is a fastball high. Darwin Barney waits in the on deck circle. Still 5-1. Angels over the Cardinals. 8th inning down in Anaheim. Another fastball, and Bogusevic has been able to lay off.
Oh, Joe's been a good sinker ball pitcher, getting a lot of ground ball outs, but pitch elevated to Navarro, and all these pitches been up too much.
Navarro has a very short lead at first. Bogusevic runs pretty well. Outfield shaded just a touch toward left center. And that one slowly hit. We're going to get an out at second. Late throw to first. So Bogusevic out on the fielder's choice, 1 out. Let's look at tomorrow's pitching probables, brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. Good one. Matt Garza, Bartolo Colon. Where's Garza? Just his 9th start. He spent quite a bit of time on the disabled list, but he's good. And what can you say about Bartolo Colon? He's 11-2. He's got an ERA of 2.79, and he has been as good as anybody in Major League Baseball in the last month and a half. He's been sensational. So Garza and Colon, that is a terrific pitching matchup. First pitch to Darwin Barney is inside. Barney 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Runner goes. The ball's tapped. Otero picks it up. His throw is not in time. You probably couldn't have rolled it out there any better, but a very close play, and it's going to get Bob Melvin out of the dugout. None of the calls, none of the close calls at first base have gone the A's way tonight, and Larry Vanover is going to get an earful from Bo Mel.
Well, the 2 with Cespedes and Donaldson back to back. That's what upset him.
So Larry Vanover say, do you have a problem? It's, well, I'm arguing the call.
Exactly.
That's what I do. I'm the manager. I come out to argue.
The ball bouncing at first base, and I think Nate Fryman scooped it nicely. Bang, bang play. Well, he is out. That's goes an Exmo, but he was out.
So it goes as a hit, 2 on 1 out for Wellington Castillo. Castillo, as we just mentioned, 2 hits and 3 RBIs tonight. First pitch is a fastball inside. Castilla, young catcher, has done major damage out of the 9th spot tonight. Could be 2. Out at second, and that's a double play. So Castilla hits into the double play. Nothing for the Cubs. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 7-5 Chicago. By your local Toyota dealers. Game started well for the A's. Bottom of the 1st, Donaldson with a 2-run homer, his 14th of the year, and it was 2-0. And then in the 2nd, Chris Young leading it off. He hits his 8th home run of the year. So the A's had a 3-0 lead, and Griffin was pitching extremely well. But then the 4th inning came, and the wheels fell off. Soriano, a 3-run homer that tied it at 3. Cubs would score a couple more runs, and then in the 6th inning, Wellington Castillo, a 2-run double. And that broke the 5-5 tie, so Griffin knocked around. And as we head to the bottom of the 8th, the Cubs 7-13-1, and the Athletics 5-8-0. So, oh boy, you just cannot figure this game out. A's had a 3-0 lead against the Cubs team. 10 games under 500. A.J. Griffin looks great, coming off a shutout.
Nothing for 3 innings.
Yeah, 4 innings later, you're down 7-5.
And he picks a bat in.
Yeah.
I mean, and he didn't have it in his last start. And that was was great, except for the 4-pitch walk, the first batter. But after that, pitched great. And very surprising tonight. But it's not over.
Donaldson, Fryman, and Young against Blake Parker. Parker was very impressive in the 7th inning. 11 pitches, a 3-up, 3-down inning. And probably got him back out there for the 8th inning. There's double action in the Cubs bullpen though. And Donaldson tries to hold up, can't do it, and the count is 1-1. Russell is the lefty. Rondon is the right. Donaldson, you saw the home run. He's also popped out and grounded out, so he's 1 for 3. Breaking ball spins inside, 2-1. We agree. He should be at Citi Field in mid-July. Save stays high, 3-1.
2 weeks from right now, when it starts. The break, actually, from yesterday, 2 weeks ago yesterday. Forgot about the off day.
Gets you every time.
And he's scrapped out for it. Nate Fryman, the on-deck circle, a lot might be determined as to what Bob Melvin does. Brandon Moss on the bench, the lefty. There's the bullpen, lefty and righty.
There's a line shot, center field, a base hit. Donaldson, a good start to the bottom of the 8th. Donaldson has a couple of hits tonight.
Oh, he's so aggressive, got a low fastball. Oh, his leg kick is just tremendous. And there's typical home run, his first at bat. This time, though, he needs to get on base to be a base runner. The A's down by 2. That lefty in the bullpen might have kept Brandon Moss on the bench. And Seth Smith, a couple of lefties. Nate Fryman, a couple of hits to right field.
So Parker gives up his first hit, and the pitch to Fryman is hit foul right over top of the Cubs dugout. Young Cubs fan ends up with it. Don't know if he was the one who caught it or not.
I think the A's fan gave it to him.
I think so. 0-1 to Fryman. 2 singles and a fly ball to right field. Bounced foul, and it's 0-2.
I think he took the ball out of Castillo's glove
both times.
Turn it up a notch or two.
Fryman's done a good job. 105 at bats so far. Double play depth for the Cubs. Outfield playing Fryman slightly toward right center. Soriano well off the line and left. Toward right field, Scherholz over there. He's got it, spins around and gets it back in quickly. So Fryman is retired. He's 2 for 4, and that'll bring up Chris Young.
Been nice if Nate Fryman could have gotten on, because Chris Young is the hero of the 3-run home runs for the Athletics this year.
Young, a solo home run, a strikeout, and a pop out. Reddick in the on-deck circle. And the first pitch is low. So the Cubs have the lefty Russell. He's ready to go down to the bullpen.
And Reddick knows it's for him.
Yep, he's going to see him. There's a strike. Huge hole on the right side. Darwin Barney's. You see it's a double play setup, but he's very close to second base. But you do not see Chris Young hit a whole lot of balls to the right side.
Does a lot of top hand, which would indicate more pull.
Donaldson, the lead at first. And now it's 2-1. So the A's trying to do some damage against the late inning relievers from the Cubs. See, I saw Dale Swaim say fastball, but I don't know what he said before, and I don't know what he said after fastball.
Well, maybe he's saying Chris Young is a fastball hitter. All we saw was fastball.
That's right. Parker kicks in. The pitch is fouled just to our right. Right off the facing of the broadcast booth right next to us.
Pat Hughes, San Jose's own Pat Hughes. Keith Moreland, the analyst on the radio side for the Cubs.
The greatness of Pat Hughes, he probably reached out, made the catch, held on to his cup of coffee. Quick throw to first. Angels win the game 5-1 over the Cardinals in Anaheim. Weaver, the winner. Lynn, the loser. Angels got all 5 runs in the second inning, and that was it. So Jared Weaver pitches extremely well. Albert Pujols goes 0 for 3 against his former team. I'm sure Albert will take the win. The Angels have now won 7 in a row, and they're 40-43. So they're trying to get themselves back in it. They have plenty of time to do that.
Well, the A's just a couple of days ago last year, June 30th, 13 back. So the Angels probably looking at the Athletics, and they had a very strong run themselves before finally ending it.
Runner goes. The ball is lying down the left field line, but it is going to hook foul. One hop up into the seats. Donaldson was on the move.
I guess there's a reason Parker kept throwing to first base, because Donaldson did run. It wasn't 3-2. There's the reason for the shift, or at least for the second baseman playing close to the bag. That was a very good job. Probably would have had him stolen, but 2 strikes on the hitter. Had to make contact. Nice bounce into the glove.
So Young steps back in. Not running this time. The ball's popped up, and it's the pitcher who calls it, squeezes it, and Blake Parker says, I can handle it. So he got in on Chris Young, and he gets the easy pop out. So Reddick steps in, and Dale Swaim coming to the mound, and it's going to be a good left-handed reliever, James Russell, against good hitter in Reddick. So that's your matchup. When we come back, when it's time for Change Think, Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts.
Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports, and by Toyota. Do the math and save at your local Toyota dealer.
Good A's fan there. Rally cap on.
Like it.
So Reddick to the plate, bottom of the 8th. He's the tying run.
Russell has no idea what's waiting in store.
Oh,
Is Josh Reddick going to face him?
I'm not going to tell him either.
Yeah. Just let him be surprised.
1-1 with a 2.53 ERA. You see the lefties hitting 188 against him.
Not overpowering. He has an assortment of pitches, but tops out with his fastball about 90. This is the hair versus the hair here.
First pitch, slider is low. So James Russell.
Yeah, like it. Sweet. Caveman can do it. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Slider, this time it's high, so it's 2-0.
And he dropped one of those 76-mile-an-hour curveballs and let Josh get it to his side.
Russell has been a workhorse out of the Cubs bullpen the last couple of years. At it again this year. And that slider outside corner for a strike. So same pitch 3 straight times, just better located on 2-0.
Over the top a little bit, and you know, good pitch not to swing at. Recognize it. Let it be a strike. It's just 2-1. I don't think Josh Donaldson's going anywhere now.
So, do you know who James Russell's father is?
Is he with the Orioles?
Jeff Russell.
Jeff Russell,
The former pitcher.
That's right.
Yeah. Who pitched for the Athletics.
Oh, somewhere Bill King just got furious. That trade was made and Bill wasn't happy. Jeff Russell. Well, John Russell's with Baltimore. Showalter's pitcher.
So 3-1. Reddick in a hitter's count.
Slider.
There it is, and Reddick swings and misses. So now the count is 3-2.
He's not going to throw all those sliders and decide to throw a 3-1 or 3-2 fastball. Sorry. And Josh knows it, and a little bit over the top. See if he throws his swing a little bit now in the 3-2, because he has seen all those sliders himself.
Donaldson will take off. Rizzo playing behind him. Now he backs off, and here's the 3-2 pitch. And he lays off a slider, and Reddick's aboard.
Kind of reminds me of Sparky Lyle and Sparky pitch. All he wanted to do is throw slider after slider.
Hector Rondon is ready. Right-handed hitter coming up, but no move made yet.
This is the managers looking at who's on the bench, who's available to hit. And of course, there are a couple of power hitters, the lefties.
And he's also looking at Sogard in the on-deck circle, another left-handed hitter. And that's where you think about managing. Sometimes you got to look 2-3 innings ahead. In this case, I would imagine Dale Slame says, well, I don't think that they're going to hit for Sogard, because Sogard has already hit for Rosales.
Exactly.
I mean, they could, but
you'd have to maneuver some other infield.
Exactly, yeah.
Like put Brandon Moss out there or somebody. Derek Norris could do some damage since he's getting a chance to hit against the lefty.
Right. A 1 pitch. Good swing, and it's 0-2. Norris, a single, a walk, and a strikeout. He has also scored a run, but here he's behind in the count 0-2 against the lefty James Russell.
It's amazing that he'd shake his head like that with range to giving up a pitch for a home run. Derek Norris has talked about barreling up the baseball, not trying to do too much, take his singles, get a mistake, hit a home run.
0-2 pitch. Blocked nicely by Castillo.
And you know, it's not a bad approach. If you think singles and then you can get a mistake, hit a mistake, then yeah, you could do a lot more damage with a mistake. That's a good take on a breaking ball in the dirt.
Russell's ready, and here's the 1-2 pitch. But first, a step and look at second base. Nobody's really holding Donaldson on. One-two pitch is low. A good take by Norris. Now we know Scherholz in right field has a very good arm, and he is playing in a couple steps.
And he's probably one outfielder that's not afraid to play in because he can go back on the ball.
So 2-2 the count. Drive to left center. Bogasevic going back. He's at the wall. Gone! 3-run homer for Norris, and the A's lead 8-7. Wow. So now Balfour will really get heated up.
Yes, he will. He has hit 4 home runs. Derek Norris has 4 left-handed pitchers. He's have given up the home runs. Perez, Kickham, Sabathia, and none bigger than this one. Derek Norris. So the rally caps, all those people are happy. They felt they contributed to this rally by the A's. Well, great at bat. Off speed. He went out and got it. And he's so strong. And, well, it's so reminiscent of last June. The walk-off. This one just a little bit bigger. The A's down by 2 and just over the 388. And now Mr. Russell decides he's throwing fastballs.
Yeah.
The slider, the changeup, got him in trouble.
So he has faced 2 hitters, a walk, and a 3-run homer. Coming back is Castillo, and it's going to drop into the first row.
Derek Norris, a 3-run home run against Sabathia, but he took, he knew it. I mean, just that trot, he knew it was gone, knew it hit hard enough. And I think the A's would have been happy to have it go off the top of the wall, 388. It just went over. So Goddard, Kansas is standing and cheering right now for their own Derek Norris.
Castillo will have a play on this one. He's got it side retired. Huge home run by Derek Norris. a 3-run homer with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. And the A's lead 8-7. 9th inning coming up. California is brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. Red, White, and U Jeep giveaway. Visit CacheCreek.com for details.
Time now for the AT&T U-verse Rewind. I think maybe Derek Norris. How about it? A's need a 3-run home run to take the lead. Derek Norris gives it to the A's. 4th home run, and the happy guys at home plate. Derek Norris. And you think about it, Kite. Feldman starts tonight. He doesn't start. Derek Norris is not in the lineup probably tonight. If Scott Feldman, the right-hander, is pitching, instead it's the lefty starting. Derek Norris gets the job behind the plate. He's had a great night.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Balfour comes in to try to save it. He's 19 for 19. Moss is now at first. Top of the order for the Cubs, Valbuena, Castro, Scherholz. If anybody were to get on, it would be Soriano. Valbuena is going to step out, which we're actually starting to see more hitters do against Grant Balfour. First pitch is a strike at the knee. 2 for 4 tonight for Valbuena, 2 singles and 2 strikeouts. Breaking ball, but it spins outside, so the count even at 1-1. 13 hits for the Cubs, 10 for the A's, but for the A's, a solo home run, a 2-run homer, and a 3-run homer. Hit high and foul, and now Balfour's ahead in the count, 1-2. Slightly open stance for Valbuena. Curve stays outside again to even the count at 2-2.
It's amazing the preparation. You talk about the thinking in advance. And Balfour was in the bullpen talking to Darren Bush, and he might have been coming in to pitch this inning anyway, but he was up and ready. And the A's get the 3-run home run, and he's in the game for a save, unlike maybe what he was thinking about doing. But at least it's like he was prepared to come in. The A's had him prepared to pitch the 9th inning.
Full count to Valbuena. Castro will be next. Payoff pitch. Foul straight back. Outfield playing a little extra deep. At least they are, with Young in center and Reddick in right. Cespedes about normal depth in left. And it's a bit low with a fastball, and Valbuena has a leadoff walk here in the 9th. Balfour has such good control, you're almost a bit surprised when he walks somebody.
You're right.
That's just the 13th walk that he has issued this year, and I wouldn't have even thought it was that many. It doesn't seem like he walks guys. Rendon starts to warm up again. So you're going to have to get through the Cubs' best hitters here in the top of the 9th.
They say, well, you might as well face the best teams, the best hitters. No.
Not the 9th inning.
No, you take as easy as you can, and while you get through them, that's a great accomplishment, but don't necessarily want to face the best.
Slider is outside to Starlin Castro, who is 1 for 4.
That's the dangerous one.
He is in the hole.
Yeah.
Sure hole's on deck. Short lead for Valbuena at first. He's got good speed. Dances off, and the pitch is a bit outside with a fastball, 2-0. Balfour thought maybe that was a strike. Looked in a little longer at Tony Randazzo.
I think it was probably more low than outside.
Castro, 4 home runs on the year, 26 RBIs. Swing and a miss, 2-1. 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
It's amazing how he can fall behind. Hitter's looking, got the leg kick, and Castro wanted to hit it out of the stadium. Swung so hard, the swing was so big.
Straight back, another fastball, this one at 94 miles an hour. So now the count is even at 2-2.
Well, back-to-back challenging fastballs, and when you have a long swing, you can't catch up. It's hard to catch up. You have to load up very, very quickly to catch up to a mid-90s fastball. Amazing thing, he could miss with a slider, a curveball, fall behind 2-0, and then challenge guys. And trying to get It was trying to get Castro to swing at a slider, curveball first pitch, and get a ground ball to get the double play. Now they think about trying to strike him out.
And a fastball that is just a touch inside. Well, it looked like Castro was leaning out, thinking he was going to get a pitch out away from him, and Balfour ran it right back in there.
Well, I don't know what was wrong with it. Had to be inside. Is it just off the plate?
So full count. Would the Cubs start Valbuena at first?
That's Derek Norris's night. Start him and throw him out. Strike him out, throw him out. I don't think they will.
He runs, and the ball is popped up foul territory. Moss hustling over, and he cannot quite get there.
Well, Valbuena had a very short lead, and I think what happened, he got such a short lead, got a running lead because Balfour hardly looked at it.
See if Valbuena is on the move again.
Okay, just make him stop. That's the biggest thing.
Inches off, a little bigger lead this time. He runs again, and it's a swing and a miss. Throw to second base, and they got him. Strike him out, throw him out, double play, 2 outs in the ninth.
Have a night, Derek Norris. Perfect throw to second. Excellent play by Sogard at second. And the good fastball, the big swing again. And actually, Derek Norris maybe had some interference on the hitter as he stepped across the plate.
So 2 outs. Here's Scherholz.
For a young man who has not played every day, Derek Norris is having a night.
Scherholz is 1 for 4. He singled back in the 4th. He struck out a couple of times. So Soriano waiting in the on-deck circle. Two and 0 to Scherholz. 3-0 to Scherholz.
I don't think he'd have the green light because of Soriano in the on-deck circle. The real problem is to keep him off the base. That's the best thing because of the speed of Scherholz. Outfield playing very deep.
So now it's 3-1.
They are very deep. That's no doubles.
Scherholz popped it up. Donaldson, a long run. Cespedes on the move, and it drops right in front of the A's bullpen guys.
Donaldson
so the count now 3-2.
Donaldson probably got down there. How you guys doing? You having fun tonight? to get somebody on the foot. Well, that was a fastball outside the Sherholtz. Looked like he was waiting. Didn't get around on it. Staying away from him, though, and that's not a bad idea.
And that one's grounded towards second. Gobbled up by Sogard, and that's the ball game. Heck of a victory for the A's tonight, and with their win and the Texas Rangers loss, the A's are back in first place by a half a game as they get their 49th win of the year. So heroics from Derek Norris, a 2-out, 3-run homer in the bottom of the 8th inning, and that gives the A's the 8-7 difference. At that point, they hang on and win it by that score. So, final score tonight from the Coliseum, the Oakland A's 8 and the Chicago Cubs 7. You've been watching A's Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Mindy Bach and Bip Roberts starts right now.